on X. Hello, hello. I see a couple people on Worth. Hi, guys. Hello. Thank you, Worth TV, YouTube. Who else do we have in here? We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, and unfortunately, we could not get started on our X. And on TikTok, we ticking and talking. Hey, Chad. Hey, Miss Jones. Let me see if I can get these Insta people in here. Hold on, guys, because, your girl is just getting it together for tonight's broadcast. Can you guys hear me okay? It looks like all the signals and stuff are good. Can y'all hear me okay on TikTok? I hope y'all can hear me. If you guys were on my TikTok earlier today, we're about to just have a continuation of that conversation because it is a very important conversation to have. Oh, but it is. Welcome everybody. Welcome Worth TV. Welcome Facebook. Welcome LinkedIn. I think we got Instagram coming in coming in the clutch right now. Come on in, Insta. And we got TikTok. What up, though, sexy people? Welcome to another episode of Nights with Nicci. I'm your host, Nicci Gilbert Daniels, better known as Nicci from Brownstone, Nicci with the Pixie. Nicci with the Pixie. I want to welcome all of you to this amazing episode. We are talking about a very serious conversation. We finna have a very grown conversation. So if you have any issues on any of the other platforms, I know last week, a couple days ago, YouTube was having some issues. And from time to time issues come up, but just to let you guys know, we're on all the platforms. I'm on Instagram Live. I'm on TikTok Live. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on LinkedIn Live. I am on YouTube Live. Unfortunately, X, we couldn't get that situated. But anyway, we are here. Cheers to you all for showing up. You said you sent it. Okay, check the messages. Thank you guys. I appreciate the compliments about let me take the camera off myself so I can see y'all comments a little better because I just get distracted with the hair, with the lipstick on the teeth, all of the things. I appreciate you guys for being here tonight. I really do. Hello, Victoria. I see you, sis. Thank you so much. Hello, Letha Robinson. I see you as well. You guys, as you come in to check me out on the Worth TV YouTube channel, please do me the kind gesture of hitting like and share and subscribe. That's how we let the algorithm know that you're interested in the conversations. Also, please, thank you so much. I see the hearts coming in on TikTok. I really appreciate you guys over there. My Instagram babies, I'm never going to just abandon y'all, even though it be like one or two of you on here. I don't know what beef Insta has with me. But whatever it is, hopefully we'll get past it and we'll move on. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a lot going on in the media, a lot happening in the press. So many things have happened. Today alone is just kind of like I'm listening to it's overstimulated. Let's just call it what it is. We might be just a tinge overstimulated by all the things that are happening out here in these streets. The thing that is probably one of the most shocking, and at the same time, thank you for the puppy kisses. I appreciate you. At the same time that it is shocking, it is also very encouraging. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this or not, but no, the whole world is familiar with this. They done arrested the king's brother. They have literally arrested the king's brother in England. When I tell you, I did not think that was even close to a possibility of something that the elites of this world, yes, Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, has been arrested. I did not bring up, you guys, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to put the pictures up or the video content and stuff up just because, oh my God, I got so many things going on, good things, but I just did not have time. But Prince Andrew has been, yes, I heard about what happened in Marietta. I sure did, Isaiah. I sure did. That's why I said we got a lot to unpack. We got a lot of things to talk about. So if y'all ain't hip to some of this stuff, we gonna get hip to this stuff together. Boy, oh boy. And the way people are letting Tyra Banks have it. Can we start off with Tyra? Can we start this conversation off with Tyra? Or are y'all all tired out? Tired out. So listen to me when I say this. Okay. Because I was on one today on my live. If y'all had a chance to look at my TikTok live earlier today, um, I went there a little bit. I think I was maybe doing just a little bit too much. I'm so tired of black women, and I'm not. I know I don't want to immediately turn off. I don't want the men and the non-black people to start going, oh, it is oh with that. But it's just the truth. It is just the whole truth, and really nothing but the truth. Let me give y'all examples, okay? And hopefully, once we talk through this in an intelligent way, and for those of you, I guess I should say this because I noticed, oh wow, TikTok, y'all on fire, yeah. Thank you. Lipstick is the lip bar boss lady. Um, for those of you who might be just bopping in for the first time, I am someone who is, as the shirt says, I can be very dramatic, but I'm also very honest. I try to be as authentic as possible, and sometimes a curse word or two slips out. I know that may be offensive to some people, but I want to apologize to you in advance and let you know that I'm still going to, be myself, right? There are far worse things going on in the world. Speaking of, I'm about to go into conversation about this woman. So can I just say this real quick? Let me get my sound effects ready. Can we please give our VP Kamala Harris a round of applause for being just real? And when she said the fuck, and sometimes I don't want to do it because I understand also the algorithm don't like it and it will reduce my reach. So if I do try to change things up a bit, is kind of because of that too. But anyway, let's get into this Tyra Banks thing. I was in the modeling world. The modeling world was way harsher than Tyra. I literally just turned off the America's Next Top Model doc. Okay, let's get into it. Huh? I'm about to cross my leg. Honey, I'm about to cross. I ain't getting nothing to drink. Dang, what y'all drinking? Dang, I mean, not like that. I ain't no alcoholic, but I usually, when I'm about to have one of those let's talk about it conversations, I'll have a glass of wine in my cool sorrel cut from Rashawn Ali. But I ain't got it, so I'm gonna drink this water. Cause listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Right. I don't wanna rain. Okay, we're gonna sing later. The America's Next Top Model documentary. I didn't finish it. I did not finish it. And I didn't finish it because I am a television producer and I could already sense where this thing was going. As somebody who has been in the public eye in a not so positive way, right? I know what it feels like for there to be this one-sided narrative about a person. I know what it feels like to have an idea in the beginning that you want to be a platform to help people and start off. And I saw enough when I saw that she went to bat for the ladies with the big producer at the network, and they were just like, "Ooh, girl, you said something to him. Oh, you probably shouldn't have said nothing to him." You know what I'm saying? And she said it anyway. When they talked about, who was more terrible and disrespectful and nasty and in need of cancellation than fucking Janice Dickinson? Give me a break. I mean, you know what I mean? She was as rude and as disrespectful and as inappropriate as they come. Janice Dickinson, or whatever her name was, the lady with the face. She was terrible. And not only that, let me tell y'all, reality TV 101. There are probably on a show like that, on a show like America's Next Top Model, it was probably about 15, 20 producers in the field. Because usually every group or every person or every two people has like their own independent producer. One producer couldn't keep track of like all the competition stuff, keep track of the models, keep track of their personal shit. You have a gang of producers, especially with a show that went on for as long as America's Next Top Model, and especially for a show that America's Top Model was at the top of the game. You know what I'm saying? America's Next Top Model was the top of the food chain in terms of reality TV, and competition reality TV is a whole nother animal. You understand what I'm saying? So for them to do a documentary, which is supposed to tell the truth about what went down on America's Next Top Model, and to specifically target one individual, and to not even offer an alternative perspective like the one Eva gave on Gayle King's show, which was, I'm grateful. I'm giving Tyra her flowers, and that was not my experience. Now listen, granted, I am not discounting anybody's experience because I wasn't there. I wasn't. So it's impossible for me to say that they lying or that. But what I can say, please, you guys, as you're coming in watching me on Worth TV YouTube channel, which is the new YouTube channel. Well, it's not new. It's just one that I've just started to be very consistent with. Please hit the like button for me. I would appreciate it if you would do that. And on Instagram, just share the live. I don't think y'all can give me hearts or nothing, but y'all can share it, and y'all can be like, Nicci on here running her mouth about some shit. Come see what she talking about. And on TikTok, I just love how y'all are giving me, y'all my new booze, period. Y'all reposting, y'all giving me hearts, y'all are giving me the little things, the other little things. I looked up after one of my TikToks and it was like 2,000 people. I was like, well, damn. And I'm not saying that they stayed, but I'm just saying, it's just like that. But let's get back into this thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Um, First of all, it was a competition reality TV show. America's Next Top Model was a competition reality TV show. Anybody home? Knock the fuck knock. Which means that you are going to be doing some shit that you probably don't want to do. Right? It means that you're probably going to have some ridiculous challenges along the way. Some shit that's going to make you go, ooh wee. Now, I'm not discounting that there are some people who have some very real traumatic experiences, right? And I too have been that person. I mentioned on my rant earlier today, my daughter was asked to inappropriately advance Kiki's husband and rub the man's leg. And a GUN was pulled on my husband. And producers were involved in all of the things. Maxie, after our performance, felt so, oh yeah, if y'all don't know the story, I was on TikTok. I did a live some time ago. But yes, my daughter literally who was sitting next to Kiki and her husband when Kiki was 8.5 months pregnant. If y'all heard this story already, let me just, because people are like, what? You just threw that out and what? A lot of people do know this story, but since there's a lot of y'all on TikTok, I want to make sure I'm clear. Yes, a white male producer, two of them, came up to my daughter on Mother's Day for the Mother's Day brunch. Not only, first they asked my friend Ramona DeBro, who I asked to do a radio personality. So that's how funky and real and honest and straightforward we gonna get with it. I asked Ramona DeBro to host the Curvado Mother's Day fashion show. I'm gonna get back to Tyra, but I want you guys to understand why I'm such an expert on this here conversation we're having about why everybody's attacking a Black woman without all the information. But yeah, so R&B Divas, we spent all of these resources putting the Mother's Day thing, renting mansions, rehearsing with models, We flew Faith's daughter out to surprise her on Mother's Day. Kiki was like 9 months pregnant. All of our daughters were there. They were going to do this beautiful presentation for the mothers at the end of it. And two white male producers with the knowledge of two black producers went to Ramona DeBro and first said, "Can we oh, they would never put the true story of R&B Divas on Netflix because see, it's not a black woman that you can blame for what happened with R&B Divas. Contrary to what all the black people, we're going to get into that. Contrary to what all the black people want you to believe, there's not a black woman that you can say, you're the reason the show failed. Well, if you think about them taking the heart and the soul out of something and still expecting it to live, and me, Faith, and Kiki deciding deuces, and it was still supposed to go, maybe we did have something to do with it. But the reason we left is because there were terrible things happening behind the scenes. My daughter was asked to proposition Kiki's husband, my friend who I asked Ramona to host the show. And Ramona will tell you this. And she said no. So when Ramona said no, they went and asked Brandy with her barely 20 years old. And then in the very last episode, another cast member's husband pulled a bang bang on my husband, and they was like, "Oh, just throw it out, sweep it under the rug. Nothing ever happened here." So I'm not saying that to play the small violin and get you guys to be all riled up about R&B divas. I'm saying that because you don't know how toxic and destructive reality TV as a whole is. And all of this heat y'all got for Tyra, you need to have for the people who have the real power and the real control and the real ability to make a person's life hell on a reality TV show. I totally understand. Yeah, the GUN incident was real. And it's producers that do it. And it's not just the black women producers. Like I said, when something goes haywire or crazy on Love and Hip Hop, people want to attack Mona Scott Young. And yes, I've had my own issues with Love and Hip Hop. I've had my own issues with all of these shows. But who is giving that rhythm to Andy and Bravo and the people over there behind the curtain? I mean, no disrespect, because like I said earlier, the Housewives is the franchise of the franchise of the franchises. But I mean, it hasn't panned out well for a lot of black men. A lot of brothers went on the Housewives like, well, damn, why did I do this and end up over here and over? It is ridiculous to me how our community, and let me say this, sisters, let me say this. This is where I might end up losing a couple of y'all on this live. But I ain't got no choice but to kick it like I know it. It be black women doing it most of the time. It's us doing it to each other. Most of the time. Because we are super duper powerful. When we come together, we are so, I be saying it all the time. Right? I say it all the time. But it's when we come together to fight on the Zeus network that we make them a whole lot of money. And then people just be broken trying to figure out how to raise their kids and pick up the pieces and get their lives and put their lives back together again. We do it to everybody, y'all. We do it to Clarissa Shields. We did it to Kamala Harris. It's happening right now to Jasmine Crockett, and she is running for senator. Overqualified black woman. And I'm not going to get all off into the political shit because I don't do that very well, which is why I will never be a politician, because I just don't do the political play, the gamage of it all very well. But when you look at what happened with Kamala Harris, even with somebody mentioned earlier, even when you think about Hillary Clinton, you knew when Hillary Clinton did not get the opportunity to become, it's just crazy. And women as a collective, as the largest group of consumers in just about everything, and black women in particular, are the tools that the incompetent fuckers use to destroy other black women all of the mother time. Because Let's just be real. Our men ain't doing shit 9 times out of 10, but listening to us gossip about some shit that happened to somebody else. It is typically, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Like I said, some people may walk away from this live early, and some people may walk away from this live not feeling your girl. But we 55, about to be 56, and we got to speak the truth how we know it. Black men are not sitting up on TikTok and Instagram and reposting and retweeting stuff shit about black women. It is gay men who, I love my gays, baby, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It is gay black men, because white women ain't doing it either. Now that they understand the power of black women coming together to cancel the shit out of somebody, then they always make sure that we're going to be divided, and they always make sure that we stay on ready, bitch. Who we canceling today, girl? Nikki Gilbert, yeah, I never liked that bitch from R&B Divas. She was so fucking mean and disrespectful, even though she created that show for everybody to win, just like Tyra Banks created her show for everybody to win, even though she went to task and fought the culturally incompetent white male lens that was working so hard to disrespect the other women on the show. Oh, she was clearly had the worst of intentions. We watched Tyra Banks go to bat for all of those women in the first. What? They just said something about my live being restricted because I was saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm being reported. I think people are reporting. I must have really what do you call it? I must really be what's the word? Onto something, because they're reporting my TikTok live saying that I'm talking about. That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Gina. That's what I'm saying, Gina. And that is why we created Divine Number 9 TV.com. One more time. Divine Number 9 TV.com. Because we don't like people telling us that we can't tell the truth to our community about what's really happening out here. I've been shadow banned since the day they realized they couldn't put a battery in my back and my soul wasn't for sale. I have made a lot of mistakes. I'm going a little bit of tangent. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life. There have been things that I have said. There have been things I may not have done that I should have on this journey, just learning whatever. But I have never intentionally been disrespectful or tried to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form to anybody about anything. They got whole elites out here are wording young women. That's why I have to be careful about the when I curse, right? Because you can't tell the real stories about the things that happen, because people, like, come on, TikTok, I love you. I love the fact that we can reach people. How are you tagging my live and saying it can't be recommended because I'm talking about something that is in violation of? I'm telling you what it is. All these platforms are owned by people who don't, the culturally incompetent lens. Period. I just, it drives me nuts. But anyway, let's get back to Tyra. Let me try to soften the conversation. Let me take a sip of water. They done put me on punishment because I'm talking crazy. Yeah, let's get into the fluffy stuff for a minute. Let's switch gears and get into the fluffy stuff, because people are asking about my lipstick. The beauty influencer, we gonna lighten it up. YouTube, I know y'all like, what the hell? Can we have the real conversation? But no, I gotta shift things over to fluffy things. The beautiful, loving, light, positivity, and good. Let's say words that the computer likes to hear. This is by a browner colored skin female, because I have a feeling that the words BW are going to all of a sudden be trigger words for folks, right? But it's by a browner skinned female. Yeah, we're having a little comedy pause for a minute. It is called the Lip Bar. You understand? And it is a lipstick that you put on your lips to be pretty and to show everybody that you can wear red. And what else is fluffy? And yes, my weight loss today, I had a great time in the gym. Yeah. Ass is lifting and waist is shrinking. Ooh, I said the wrong word. But anyway, hopefully that was enough positive, fluffy stuff to get me out of restriction. Whew. fluffy. Back to America's Next Top Model and the issues with our dear Tyra Banks. Tyra was not the only producer, you guys. And the reason that I get so animated and a little, over the top, is just because I'm so over this expectation that we put on people who look like me that we don't put on anybody else. And it is us a lot of times. We are the tools that have been leveraged against each other for so long. We have trillions of dollars in buying power. That is the reason why I'm constantly on the soapbox. That is the reason why I'm constantly speaking about the importance of ownership. Because certain words, I mean, think about it, y'all. All of these forums that we're on right now are owned by the people. I mean, we got fan base and we got all. Thank y'all for the hearts. Please continue to give me hearts so I don't know, maybe my video can be recommended again. But we have so much power. And that power being leveraged in a positive way is what's going to change what is happening in the Black community. We cannot keep blaming politicians. We cannot keep blaming each other. I mean, I'm sorry, we cannot keep blaming other people. We have to turn our attention onto the responsibility that we need to have as individuals, the responsibility we have towards each other. You need to treat every woman, every person, like you would treat somebody that you love, like you would treat somebody that you know and that you care about, especially if you don't know them. You understand? Not knowing who Tyra is as an individual, but making the decision to destroy this woman's reputation in public when she's trying to build a business, when she is raising a son, when Tyra, for the most part, has been non problematic as a celebrity, as a person who is successful, to leverage our power and our collective ability to tear down a Black woman without knowing the full picture of what has actually happened with America's Next Top Model, which is a show that is, what, 20, 30 years old, whatever it is. Maybe not 30, but And that is not to discount or negate what the women on the show went through in their stories, because I think people's stories should be told. I think we should care about. I think she should. I think she should care about. We should care. I'm sorry about. I got distracted. We should care about making sure that we are not, as a community, using our power to destroy somebody who is accomplishing things that are very difficult to accomplish, number one, very rare. And the fact that she had an opportunity to get through the door to bring a franchise that made all this money. And maybe I am taking it a little personally, right? Because it's just re-traumatizing me when I think about R&B divas and how people just completely, she destroyed the show, she destroyed those women, she was terrible. It's like, yeah, but okay. When do we hold other people accountable for the shit that they did? And don't give me the whole, yeah, but she's a Black woman and we expect more out of her. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. If somebody gonna be the president of the United States, you should expect the equal, respect and presidency and presidential things. It's 11:11, you guys. We gotta pray. Lord God, forgive us for our sins. Thank you for our blessings. Bless everybody who is watching this live, Jesus. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for keeping our families healed. Thank you for keeping us healthy, dear Lord. Thank you for protecting us from evil, Lord God. Bless all of the children and the families of the children who have been victimized, not just the ones in the what files, but also the ones in the community, in the hood, every day, that face the same ugly monsters, that face the same abuse, Lord God. To the family of the person who unfortunately was unalived in the tree in Marietta. I don't know what is going on, Lord, but please bless our community, Lord God. We know this is the year of the fire horse and things are being revealed and things are being shown to us. And we just pray to God that we continue to be healthy. We can take whatever the world has coming and make the most out of it. Keep us healthy, keep us happy, keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all. That's another thing we just do when we hit 11:11 when we on these lives. And since I'm always live around this time, that's what happens. Mm. Osmosis said concentrate your energy. That is a fantastic note. 100%. So let's get back into not just Tyra Banks, but let's get into the topic of our discussion this evening, which is the toxic narratives about Black women and how it shapes our culture and how it negatively impacts our future. Um, in order for our community to survive, I know that there may not be a lot of people who really understand this, but the protection of Black women is absolutely necessary. Black women raise Black children who become Black adults, who continue the legacy of whatever Blackness means in this world. Period. We love our mama. We love our grandma. We love our aunties. We love our sisters. We love our daughters. We look out for them. We protect them because that is how your individual family continues to grow and to thrive. And every other family in your community deserves that same respect. So when we have someone who's doing great things, you guys have no idea the emotional cost of public leadership for Black women. The sacrifices that they make as it relates to their families, the sacrifices that they make as it relates to even their other relationships with other women. There has to be a way to shift from tearing each other down to building each other up. This internalized competition shit versus collaboration that we engage in like all the time. Thank you for the hearts and the badges, y'all. Thank you for the likes on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. There has got to be something that we collectively can do while we still can, while we still have access to each other. Because we see, whoop, you want punishment, you said something we didn't like. Oh, we're not gonna let you reach them 200,000 people that follow you because y'all, this is real. I know it feels a little redundant because I talk about it a lot and I get on here and it's often that I say, well, damn, you know what I mean? I don't have, thank y'all for being able to share the live again, I guess. Please share the live because, yeah, TikTok put me on punishment. So maybe it was good that they did it because I need to calm down because I was on one. And I'm really I'm trying to build in calm spaces. The Tyra Banks situation, the Sherry Shepherd situation, the Nikki Gilbert situation, who else? The Mariah Huck situation, the Mona Scott situation. Is there one Black woman, the C. Dolores Tucker situation, Jasmine Crockett situation? Who is the Black woman we accept? Who is she? I'm open. I mean, ooh, I better be careful about that word over here. Who is the woman that looks like us that we can just get by? Y'all, I said it earlier. We even had the audacity to attack the brightest way of brown sunshine, Tabitha Brown. We wanted to come for Tabitha Brown. You can't be more likable and positive and soft spoken and wellness oriented. How do we fix this? How do we just stop? And this is a conversation for Black women and for gay LGBTQIA community members. How do we get to the point where, like, yeah, we did not like what Nicki did. One day we might not like what Cardi did. The next day we don't like what this one did. The next way, how do we get to a place where disagreement does not mean discourse and division and divide? Because collectively, we are so powerful and so necessary and so important. And we're so consumed with being accepted and liked and received by everybody other than ourselves and each other. Let somebody get a job working for them people. Baby, it's going to be Radar Online articles and Deadline.com articles. Ooh, Alva Gaddy said we can't even control that with our own daughters. Woo. You just said that's us. She said we can't even control that with our own daughters. Where's the lie? But let me tell you why I think you're right. We do have to start there. We do have to start there. But let me tell you guys why I believe this is such a powerful statement and why I believe we have such a hard time with our millennials and our Gen Zers and our kids and shit, right? Because many moons ago, a woman by the name of C. Dolores Tucker, who was another Black woman that we didn't listen to, tried to tell us that the narratives and the images and the music and the lifestyle that was being on full display was eventually going to make it very difficult for us to manage our youth. She told us. It started with us. We was listening to some kind of wild shit too. Pop that. It was a, Luke and them and Freak Nick and all that. And we called our parents old and out of touch. And we didn't pay attention the same way our kids are doing us. Except the difference is because our parents did not listen to that toxic, destructive narrative in the music and the film and TV and stuff. See, back in the day when we watched award shows, people wasn't on stage in string bikinis, thongs, twerking. They had gowns. You might get a slit or a deep V, but you didn't get all that other stuff. I'm trying to talk like I got some sense so they don't just ban my thing again. But y'all ain't get all that. You got, classy, respectable. And then we kind of pushed the envelope a little bit, but we were still, respectful. 90s was a great era. You know what I'm saying? We still, matter of fact, 90s, we was kind of in the whole like, look, 90s hair, cutting our hair off. I remember I told y'all the story about when I cut my hair, people was like, you're crazy. And combat boots and overalls and looser clothes. And our liberation was more like, hey, we can get down just like the fellas and still be cute with our lipstick and our, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing changed. Oh, I got my Detroit earrings on, but I was going to wear my band boots, right? 90s classic. What started to happen, we're back to the daughters and back to our kids, because I got one too. And trust me, which is why when I got so heated talking about the things that happened on R&B Divas that were so devastating that other producers participated in, because you don't under elegance, self-worth, and respect. Yes, Yaddy, 100%. Lil Kim, right? Lil Kim started pushing the envelope. You got it going on. What? Nikki, are there any upcoming film projects? Yes, there are lots of them. Divine9tv.com will show you everything we're working on. All of our upcoming projects are there. Divine9tv.com. But in the 90s, we had a liberation, work together, Y'all, we were dope. Still are. That's why 90s is so impactful today. The last of the great eras. Because what started to happen is when C. Dolores Tucker started to realize that the music was changing the culture. And then, let's just call it what it is. Diddy, R. Kelly, Luke, Master P, a lot of hip hop giants started to evolve. Then we started getting introduced to a different perspective. We saw Little Kim and Foxy Brown. And don't get it twisted. I used to be scared of it. Now I throw lips to the handle it like a real Heather Hunter, Janet Jack me, take it in the butt. Oh, wait, hold up. See, but we Bahamas in the spring. Maybe it's a big mama thing. Can't tell by the diamonds in my ring. That's how many times I want to, what? What? But that's what we heard. That was the mantra. That's what we thought was hot. Because a misogynistic male perspective that did not respect our girls, did not respect us as girls and women, put the music out there and we couldn't resist it because it was so good. And there wasn't anything promoted by female rappers. Well, no, I'm lying. Because we came from an era of female rap where the songs were UNITY, that was it. Can't mess with my yo-yo. We had a lot of dope MC Light, Cha Cha Cha. And then suddenly, which is a form of liberation, sexual liberation as well. So I'm not criticizing sexy hip hop. I'm just saying when you look at where everything is today, and when you look at all of these files that people are talking about right now, and you look at all of the people who were the gatekeepers and had the power and had all the control, you understand why that hard pivot to everybody now in the female rap game is going to take a page out of Little Kim and Foxy Brown's book, because they were really the original sort of like bad girls that way. I mean, of course you had nasty girls with Prince and this and that and the third, but it was a different kind of a thing. It became mainstream hip hop to have this narrative of drugs, said, oh, there I go, about to mess up. That word, sex, and rock and roll. And that's when it started to become a shift in the culture. And when great music and great musicians and great songs and bodies of work and going into the studio collaborating and all of that, that's when it shifted from that R&B that really sticks with you to like it started going into like a darker, more like, you know, broken form of music. And they just continue to make more and more of it. And they continue to empower the men in the industry who were going real hard with that narrative. The video vixen era, you know? And then it was like drink. Look, I'm not making the gestures, which is probably worse, but y'all know what I'm saying. Turn into that. And then what's really interesting is C. Dolores Tucker saw it before any of us did. And she tried to encourage us to move in a different direction, and we did not. And because we did not, the gatekeepers at the labels just went even deeper with it. Then it became about rapping about it. Back in the day, it was rappers rapping about selling those things to get out of the hood and to help their families. And then it went from that to turning into them doing the DRUGSs and how great it makes you feel. And I mean, they was like literally naming there's songs out there that just name the type of pharmaceuticals that you taking, naming them by name. Ain't nobody flagging that. Ain't nobody saying, "Oh no, you can't use the name perk. You can't." No, this is not like to continue to promote a rap song. This is to promote pain relief for people, and it's only supposed to be talked about by qualified medical professionals. But here you're talking about it in a rap song, but it's okay because sales are up. Our kids, just like we were exposed to things like Little Kim and Foxy Brown and NWA and Luke Skywalker and the Two Live Crew and all of those things that C. Dolores Tucker tried to tell us that we should be cognizant of the damage long term. And we didn't pay no attention, and we kept singing, and we kept saying that old lady is talking to them people wrong. She needs to talk to them softer and be nicer. And we clowned her, and then we wrote a song. Wonder why they call you a bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch. They wonder why they call you bitch. We dancing and singing, and this lady trying to save the world. And we like, yeah, that's the jam. We made a whole song up about a lady who was trying to help the community and prevent us from falling into what we see now, which is a whole bunch of pages upon pages upon pages upon pages upon pages of documents that show us that the highest ranking people in banking and entertainment and sports and tech and all of the places, the most powerful, have been allegedly, if you read it, been not only doing like really terrible things to babies, but also some of the purely racist, real quick, word. Like when you hear how they were talking about us in them emails, when you read and stuff, you're like, oh, what? The entire file. And we have the audacity to pick apart the people in our community who are successful but not perfect. Because the fact that we collectively can't give our own community a pass, but we allow all of the other things that are happening out here that, yeah, we may want to say it doesn't really affect us because it's happening to, non-black people, and wasn't none of us on that island. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's the reasons why. Even though thank God none of us were there, like sometimes you got to listen for the things that were not said. And one of the things that it really, when you hear the references that were made to us, and you think that these are the most wealthy, powerful people in the world who own all of the things, but what's crazy is that we are 9 times out of 10 the manufacturers. Here, ride with me on this real quick, you guys, because I'm gonna go there. We are looking at all of this wealth, right? How many of y'all wore Victoria's Secrets? Women. How many brothers bought Victoria's Secrets for their women? How many of y'all wore the Limited? Anybody wear the Limited? Yeah, the limited and Victoria's Secrets, a lot of us. Because we buy all kind of sugar honey iced tea out here in these streets. Pink edition, all the pink on your ass, all of that, right? How about us just not believing that what is happening with the Steam files has anything to do with us because they didn't want us over on the boat on the island, and then yeah, but the person who allegedly funded his whole situation made his billions and billions and billions of dollars and own all of Ohio because he owns Victoria's Secret and the Limited. Wexner, hmm? Excuse me? Is this thing on? It ain't got nothing to do with us, but we make them so wealthy and they don't care, like Michael Jackson said, a damn about who, I mean, who on TikTok? Who on Instagram? Who buys everything? $2 trillion in buying power right here, all us. That's why I promote the lip bar, the black owned black woman lipstick brand, because I know the power. That's why I come here on this live all the time and be talking about shit that gets banned because they're not talking above my head. The person who funded, allegedly, and gave them a ton of it was just read the article and not just the headline. The record labels, who makes the music that make the people move, that make the people want to dance? Who does that? We do. We do it because we are consumers. We are tools. And we don't believe that that same power will translate into us building our own infrastructure and our own Victoria's Secrets and our own The Limited. Pat McGrath just had to file bankruptcy. Why, Craig? I'll wait. You looked up and saw Main Choice and Mael and Shea Moisture and all of the brands. Just now, Shea Moisture owes allegedly, Essence X, Y, and blah 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 blah. And guess what? We're gonna retweet it and repost it and reshare it and bask in the glory of the black company that tried to, buy the Essence Festival and really turn it into something having those types of issues. We have got to pick a side. There is really only one side for us to pick. There's really only one side for us to pick, beautiful black people, because they don't need nothing from us but our money to make them billionaires. We buy Victoria's Secrets probably more than anybody. We bought the Limited probably more than anybody. We buy black hip hop and music, which is the number one musical export coming. We do it more than anybody. So collectively, even if we ain't all got a pot to piss in individually, we have the opportunity collectively to come together and build an infrastructure that allows us. Look at Sinners. Look at Wakanda. We make everything hot. But instead of using our voices to get to the real bottom of why these women were treated the way they were on America's Next Top Model, it's sexier for us to blame it all on Tyra Banks. I said it. If you really gave a flying frog leg about these contestants on this show being mistreated, then you want everybody to come into the room. Because ain't that what y'all asking people to do with them files? Oh, wait. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Excuse me, ma'am. Huh? Hello? Huh? See, I ain't got time to be playing with us because I love us too much. If it is a white person doing something out of order to hurt people, they want to know all of the people were involved, all the way up to the royal palace. We know you're the king, but we need your brother to come in because we need to holler at him. But in the black community, it's just okay for us to just blame Tyra Banks and Nikki Gilbert and Mona Scott Young and all the black women, Kamala Harris. Let's just blame on. You know what? The dumbest thing I think I have seen this year, and it might have been something that was put out last year. The dumbest, most disappointing thing, and I'm gonna say dumbest, most disappointing. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, and I'm not gonna make it sound sweet. Rosie Perez, so disappointing. So, and I did White Men Can't Jump as an extra. So how could I be disappointed in Rosie Perez? Such a big fan of Rosie Perez, but she sat on a podcast across from a beautiful blonde haired white woman, and she said, Kamala just the vibe, the vibe. It just, the vibe wasn't clicking. I just wasn't clicking with Kamala. The vibe wasn't clicking. Honey, the only thing that wasn't clicking was the lights in the house she was in because wasn't nobody there. Wasn't, come on, TikTok, stop playing with your girl. Wasn't nobody there. How do you, as a minority, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous person of color, and a woman, thank you for the roses, sit across from a non-Black woman and say, the reason you didn't vote for Kamala Harris is because the vibe wasn't clicking. Something just wasn't clicking. She just, I just want her to be click a little more if she does it again. Click with who? For what? She is talking about running the most powerful country in the world. She clicking with you and being, that's what I'm saying. Why she got to click? Why she got to give you a vibe? Did you have one with DT? Did you have one with, I don't know, did you have one with Abraham Lincoln? Did you have one with George Bush? Who else gave you the vibe and clicked with you, Rosie? And that's not about me disrespecting you, sis, because we're all entitled to our opinion, but it just blows my mind how we hold Black women to this unbelievable standard, and the goalpost just continues to move, and it be your own people. This woman was overqualified to run the country, as is Jasmine Crockett is overqualified to run for Senate. I've never needed anything but the funding to do the dopest creative content ever. I've proven that I create hit shows. They all get stolen from me. All of them. Every single one. With the exception of From the Bottom Up by the Grace of God, because I partnered with people who cared. But why do we have to prove that we're not out here to hurt our people more than people who have proven time and time again that they are? Why? It does make sense, Craig. Because male white reality TV show producers have proven over and over and over and over again, Gina, that they don't care about us. Every reality show you see that has and all of them, reality TV don't really work if it ain't Black women. I mean, it's a couple white shows that do the thing, but Bravo is all about Potomac and Atlanta, period. Love and Hip Hop, R&B divas, the Braxtons, whatever. Reality TV is a Black woman's sport. And it's a goddamn shame that Black women owners cannot participate in that so we can fix the mess. Tyra Banks has a lot of responsibility in all of the things that have happened with America's Next Top Model. Tyra got to lay on the sword and say, hey, you know what? I was the leader. You guys were interested in this because of my involvement. Please hit like, you guys, as you come in. Please hit like. And thank you for the hearts, TikTok. I appreciate y'all so much. But yeah, Tyra had a responsibility to lay on the sword because with leadership, that's a part of it. Whether you did it or not, when people come to something and get engaged in something because of your involvement and because of how they respected you, like many of the women who did the shows that I produced came on board because they're like, oh, okay, Nicci's gonna look out for us. Because I thought I had the power. I thought I was more than a vanity credit producer. I quickly learned that I was only a vanity credit producer and that I did not have power. And I did not have power because I did not have ownership. That's the reason why I went to the Supreme Court of the United States of America, because I learned in the R&B Diva situation the importance of having ownership of my IP. And that was the only way that I would be able to control the narrative. Doesn't mean you have to control everything and you can't collaborate with people and work together to make a great end result. But it means that at the end of the day, if this is about women who look like me and people who have had my lived experiences and come from where I'm from, then I need to make sure that my folks is going to be good in this final edit. And let me say this, because this is another mistake that a lot of people make and another miscommunication that happens often when people are getting hired to do these reality TV shows. Let me tell y'all something, and I challenge anybody to challenge me about this. Nobody is giving you a reality TV show to simply position you to just win all the time and be presented in the most pleasing way. Stop with the bullshit. You're not getting on anybody's reality show, especially a competition reality show. Donald Trump apprentice, you're fired. What is the show where they got you eating snakes and shit, naked and afraid? How much more terrible could it be than to be out in the middle of the wilderness and chased by, all kind of crazy shit? Can't eat, starving. That is torture. But those people sign up for it with the understanding and disclaimers and stuff. The difference is when you do ensemble reality television, take it from the creator and producer of one of the most successful ensemble reality TV shows on TV, they're not going to tell you that this shit is going to end badly for you. They're going to tell you you're going to be a supermodel and you're going to be America's Next Top Model and everything's going to be fabulous. And as they have to compete for ratings, and as the network makes that call, listen, I know you wanted this to be warm and fuzzy and kumbaya, Tyra, but baby, if you don't give us something exciting in season 5 and in season 12, there won't be a season 22 or a season 24 or a season. I don't know what you have to do. Just figure it out. Bring in the reinforcements. You know that producer who's real good at starting shit and coming up. That's how that works. There are several people involved in the big picture of every reality TV show you watch, and they have one job: ratings, numbers. Make them hate that bitch. We don't care. As long as the black women and the gays are going in on her, because that's who they use to do it. I told y'all people was going to disagree with me. People always have. And I love it. This is the year of the fire horse. This is the year where things come fast, straight in your face, and as honest as they can possibly be. And in the grand scheme of things, the Tyra Banks situation is an opportunity for us to take a step back and ask ourselves, do we really care about what happened to the contestants on America's Next Top Model? Do we really care all these years later about how devastating the experience was for them? And if we do, shouldn't we be getting to the bottom of why that happens on every single solitary mother flipping reality TV show there has ever pretty much been made? Shouldn't we care that my daughter was asked to proposition Kiki's husband? Or is my name not as big as Tyra, so it don't matter? Shouldn't we care that somebody's husband couldn't take the criticism of a reality show that another big company did, so he allegedly unalived himself as a result? Shouldn't we just care overall about the toxic, destructive, foul-ass nature of reality TV in general if we're going to leverage our platforms and use our tools to destroy Tyra Banks? Because she wasn't the only one. She wasn't. And I know that there are people that just want to hate her because they don't like the way she walk, or they want to hate her because she thinks she's a supermodel. And so what? And you're supposed to, and you're supposed to. But come on, if you really care about the victims of what happens in reality TV, call Lemmy Plummer and tell him. Call Andy and tell him. We've stands all we could stand and we can't stand no more. We're not going to stand by and watch women in reality TV be embarrassed and humiliated on national television. We're not going to stand by and watch Nikki Gilbert's daughter be asked to proposition Kiki's husband, or Nikki Gilbert's friend Ramona DeBro to be asked to proposition Kiki's husband, or we're not going to stand by and watch another cast member pull a GUN out on another. Let's just open up the whole Pandora's box and go there if we're going to destroy Tyra Banks because of what she did. Now, that's too much, right? That's too big of a haul. That's much too much of a task. Because we're going to get clicks talking about Tyra and how terrible she is. Listen, I get it. People were shocked. People clutched their pearls. People couldn't believe that Tyra Banks would ever. But is that the real issue, y'all? Or is the real issue that we do it all the time to everybody as long as she a black woman? And this ain't about the small violin. And this isn't about me being delusional about you don't understand. She was terrible. So what? Who else was? That's what this is about. Who else? And if we're not going to talk about who else was in the files, if we're not going to talk about who else was a victim, and make this a big picture conversation, then why are we attacking the black woman? If we're going to let everybody else slide, can't we let her slide too? What is this going to impact? What is this going to change? How is this going to evolve? I'm tired of our community being leveraged as tools of the incompetent to destroy and break each other down. R&B Divas is not here today because people want to focus more on the issues with Nikki and Selena or Angie and Kiki than the real actual problem that presented this franchise from going forward. And I've tried on my little struggle YouTube channel and on my Instas and on my TikToks to share the truth, undiluted, welcoming anybody to come challenge it. And because it's not on Netflix and my name is not Tyra Banks, it will not have the impact and it will not reach the amount of people that will. And my question is, why? Because it's more interesting to tear down a high-profile black woman that everybody knows and watch her whole, everything she's built in her lifetime, all the good she's attempted to do. It's more compelling and juicy for us to tear her down. Tyra didn't have no power to control every aspect of America's Next Top Model. So we shouldn't leverage our power to break this woman down. Because listen, She has a kid. She has a non-problematic life in Australia. She has a business that she's trying to launch. And she's going to have to answer to this ridiculous ass shit. The same way I had to answer to the people at Charm Shops who own Lane Bryant and Size Unlimited and every plus size store. I'll never forget. Never forget. I had a fantastic showing, Full Figure Fashion Week in New York of Curvato. Y'all seen it. And baby, when I tell you, 2 days before I had a very important meeting with one of the most powerful plus size clothing brands in the business, an article was put out on radaronline.com that said I was a terror to work with, that they are firing me, that the producers can't stand me, I'm horrible. And I got on the phone with them people and they said, we'll revisit this conversation in a year. Even though I reached out to TV One and they issued a statement saying this is not true, we don't know where this came from. Production company did it. They ruined an opportunity for me to get my clothes in a major retailer after we poured everything we had into it by saying I was a terror to work with. I still have that article and it just broke me down. It was like, really? This is what we're doing? And that opportunity went away. And that began the whole I have been repairing my reputation from R&B divas for the last 12, 13 years. So many lies, so many half-truths, so much bullshit, and suffered so much adversity on that show. And I'm still recovering from it. So yeah, when I get on here and I talk about it, yeah, because it is branded into my whole entire business and reputation. So when I see it happening to somebody else, I have to speak up about it. Because at the end of the day, they never get the people behind the camera. The wizard never shows up to take responsibility for the shit that they did, for the things that they control. Never. I always felt that modeling world was always messy. So was Tyra modeling this behavior. Here's the thing. It was a competition reality show, y'all. It was a competition reality show. Let me explain to y'all what a competition reality show is for those of you who don't know. Like American Ninja Warrior. Like the show that had people eating crazy stuff. Like, I don't know, The Apprentice. It was a competition reality show where they had to do 24 seasons of challenges that were absurd and crazy, but it all had to be connected to modeling. So a lot of those decisions that they made were ridiculous and unfortunate. But in order to keep the viewers entertained and people took, that is the reason it did 20. Listen, guys, it's the reason it was such a successful show. We didn't turn away at the time we were watching it. We didn't say that's a damn shame that Tyra said, we were rooting for you to that girl. Why she do that to that girl? Some of us may have, but this cancel shit wasn't happening. Nobody was writing into whatever the network was saying, we refuse to watch this. No Roger, no rerun, no rent. It was a competition reality show. Now we got to do think pieces on whether or not Tyra Banks is a terrible person and whether or not Tyra Banks is trying to make people go through what she went through. Tyra Banks was not the only producer on the show. I'm going to say it one more time. Tyra Banks was not the only producer on the show. Tyra Banks was not the only producer on the show. And she probably had second or third in terms of seniority. She was probably, there was the network and all of them producers. Then there was the production company who just really called the shots and all of those producers. And Tyra was probably in group 3 or 4. More or less a vanity craze. She said she had never done reality TV before. Tyra don't have no ownership of a network to determine what gets seen and what does not. That's the reason why we created divine9tv.com, because ownership without ownership of the distribution platforms is futile. Because the network can still say, we're not going to air this episode unless you give us more drama. We're not going to air this scene unless there's more stakes. Every reality TV show is built on something called stakes. You guys need to be like this. That's the thing that keeps you watching. The thing that keeps us addicted to social media. When we see the most ridiculous shit ever in social media, please hit like, share, subscribe, and give me plenty of hearts. Reality TV is not set up for people to be empowered and inspired and lifted, even if it's the preachers of LA. Even if it's the Iyanla Fix My Life. The show with the purest of intentions cannot survive without drama. And it damn sure ain't gonna go 75,000 seasons neither. Oprah Winfrey said something really profound. This is Oprah Winfrey. She said when she started her network, she wanted everything to be like Super Soul Sunday. She wanted it all to be kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. And they was like, no, you can have Sundays for that. If you want people to watch and you want, it's like me getting on YouTube and me getting on these social media sites. There is so much stuff that I could say that would probably make more of my videos go viral. Truthful things about folks. But that's not what I'm trying to do here. This platform was started off as a place for me to vent and share and be honest about what's going on in my life and be imperfect and authentic and real. And I realized that it didn't require me tearing anybody else down. Now sometimes we do a deep dive and we're gonna unpack some shit. And I'm gonna say some things that people may not agree with. I'm okay with that. If you don't agree with something that I say on one of my lives or in my conversation, as long as you are respectful, respectfully disagree. If I say something that is not accurate and you want to straighten me out or tell me, you know what I'm saying? Um, you know, let's talk about it. But the fact that we can't disagree as grown people, the fact that we can't look at a documentary and in an emotionally intelligent way say, okay, well, we've heard from several people who have made us not feel so good about Tyra. Are there any people out there who had some good experiences? Oh, here's Eva on Gail King. What does Eva have to say? Oh, my experience wasn't that. I mean, I understand I should relate, but I didn't have that experience. I'm grateful to Tyra. I'm going to give her flowers. Thank you very much. They could have found 5 to 10 other people who felt the same way. But guess what they did? They reeled us all in because we're going to pay attention and talk more about the drama and the negative shit. They probably had some positive things that were said that they left on the cutting room floor. Why? Because they want you to have the exact reaction that you have to Tyra Banks. Because guess what? They could have had a few people on there that could have made it a more neutral and authentic representation of what the experience on America's Next Top Model was. Or, in addition to blaming Tyra for everything, they could have brought in the other producers and the network people and the folks in the field calling the shots and the people who were setting people up. They could have brought them in there too and let the girls talk openly about them. And I'm glad that Eva addressed that on Gayle King. But see, the thing about bad news and bullshit is it travels a whole lot faster and spreads a whole lot wider than the actual truth of what the situation is. And I was kind of falling into that space of, ooh, child, oh God, let me see what this is. And I started watching it and I did not even get through the first episode because I said, I see what it is. It's a hit piece on Tyra Banks. Mm-hmm. At least that's my opinion of it. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about Tyra is unbothered and Tyra doesn't. But who wants that? You know, who wants to work really hard to establish a show, you know, that people really love and people really enjoy and come up with this genius idea to come up with this show and pour your heart into it and have the very people who benefited most tear you down about it. Maybe you made some not so good decisions. It was the beginning of reality TV. We didn't we were just kind of figuring it out. We was just kind of like, and the fact that we won't give this woman a break, the same way we would not give Kamala Harris a break. She started running for president of the United States late, and she fought a great fight with two hands tied behind her back, all because they did not want to relinquish the throne, all because they probably knew if she got it, she was going to do 8 years, and she was going to set up and position this country to win. And you could not have that happen and have a Black woman be the greatest president there ever was, for a lot of reasons. Reasons we're starting to see unfold every day as we hear more about what's happening in those files. All these think pieces about how terrible Tyra Banks was, all the extra challenges that Jasmine Crockett has to endure, all the she was terrible to Black men when she was in California that Kamala Harris had to go through. How many times do we have to prove that you care as a Black woman more about your community than someone outside of our community who has proven time and time again that, in the words of Michael Jackson, they don't give a damn about us? Prince wrote the word slave on the side of his face, and he was Prince. Michael Jackson stood at the podium and said this shit is demonic. And we didn't, Bob Marley, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday, Ozzy and Ruby, Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Why don't Black people understand the power that we have when we come together and support and lift each other? Because we have been conditioned to believe that it ain't enough to go around, and you better get it while the getting is good. And if the way you gonna feed yourself and your family is to destroy another Black woman or another Black man on social media by trying to just destroy their life and exploit and expose, like who like, does anybody really like the idea of like exposed? Like, is that a positive? Would you want that shit to happen to you? And that's the terrible thing about it, is Black people don't understand karma, the great equalizer. Because everything you put into this universe and everything that you do to someone else comes back to you, and oftentimes tenfold. And that's why people who make a living doing that terrible, nasty, destructive, tearing people down shit are alcoholics and can't sleep and don't like themselves and gotta scream and talk loud and be mad and always angry and wrinkles in their forehead and shit, because you make a living off the souls of other people and the grief of other people and the loss of other people. And we just got to get to the point as a community where we don't give a flying frog leg about what a toxic, sick person has to say, which is why I've spent so much time on this Tyra Banks conversation, right? And the reason why is because when you start reaching out into the stratosphere to try to, who can we tear about now? Who can we tear down now? Oh, I know. Let's tear down Fantasia. Oh, I know. The most unproblematic celebrities are somehow now being dragged into Black Twitter, and it ain't even black no more. But the gag is us, that a culturally incompetent lens has used forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Imagine if black people didn't beef so much. Imagine if we actually leveraged our platforms to celebrate each other. We saw what happened when we did it with Wakanda. We see what happens when we do it with sinners. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you guys. Oh, I love you, TikTok. I love you, Insta. And I love you, Worth TV. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I gotta look. Somebody told me I'm getting comments that I'm not able to. Hold on, you guys. The same way in 2036, people still blame Diana Ross for the demise of man. Listen, right, right, man. Y'all talk about Beyonce, like I'm saying, y'all be picking the most like non-problematic people. Like Beyonce don't bother nobody. She don't want to be bothered. Beyonce don't want to do nothing but sing her songs, rehearse, and give us the best show ever that inspires everybody to push to be greater. They even got a saying. We all got the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce. Hold on. Don't forget about Michelle Obama too. Hey, I'm sure. Hey, sister, I see you. I'm sure that they would have put a few girls who had good opportunities on the show. It would have had a better outcome. Yep, absolutely, Haven. 100% sister. That's the thing. When you have people who don't cause no issues, and I have to say this, I wasn't going to touch on this. This is my soror. This is my sister. I said what I had to say to Fantasia when I texted her yesterday. But I'm so glad that her king just squashed it and said what he said. At the end of the day, again, it goes back to what I've been talking about from day one. They going to talk about Michelle Obama. They going to talk about Beyonce. They're just going to talk about black women who are unbothered and black women who don't bother nobody, because we have a very serious issue with groupthink. We are so easy to condition to hate each other. These people ain't done no. Now, don't get it twisted. When I say we, I know that there are more of us who love us than don't. And many of the people who would never, as it relates to black women, ain't even really on social media doing that like that. So you don't see it. But because social media has become such a part of how we communicate and how certain things are amplified, and it does impact. It was a time when social media was just social. It was just play. It was just, hey, let's just, hey girl, what you doing? What you wearing? Influencer. Now it has literally become a source of news, which most of that is inaccurate, which is why we always get on here and just give an objective perspective on things. And it shapes culture in ways that it just gets out of hand. I was talking to somebody today. Oh, guys, real quick. Thank you for the likes and the subscribing and all that stuff, but please do me a favor. On Tuesday, I'm speaking with my organization, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, for a CEO conversation, which is super exciting. So if you're a member of the org, you guys make sure y'all come and hang out. It's gonna be a great conversation. I think it's exclusive to members of the organization, but also what is free and not free, but it's open to the public. And I would love for you guys to support. Is I'm doing a conversation during South by Southwest. Woo! Hold on. Let me give myself some applause. Applause for the girl. God is good. To God be the glory. I'm getting really deeply immersed into the technology space. Thank you guys for the support. Thank y'all for these gifts on TikTok. Okay, girl. I appreciate you. But I'm getting into this technology space. It is a tremendous honor for me to be speaking with Frontier Group on the human side of AI and technology. So let me say this real quick. The power of technology is unlimited. Like there, I don't really think there is a measure for how quickly this thing is going and how much it impacts people and community, right? And I encourage people to be conscious of the things you put into the algorithm because that is what you're going to get back. If there ever was, thank you for the Galaxy Techo, I appreciate you. If there was ever an opportunity for us to really understand the concept of what happens with karma, let's look at what happens in technology. When you put in, if you're watching a health video, like I've learned that I'm getting a lot of like fitness stuff and a lot of wellness stuff because outside of me talking about entertainment, I'm a really big like wellness, fitness, you know, advocate. So the things that I watch and travel and stuff like that, right? And aliens and shit. But I'll notice that it's in my timeline. And then I'll say, okay, you know what? I need to switch some things up because now they're giving me some weird, crazy alien shit. So let me just switch this up. So you literally put into the algorithm what you want to get more of by watching, by searching, by programming, programming, whether it is programming that you watch on television, whether it is programming that you listen to on the radio, whether it is programming that you're consuming on social media. Programming sets your perspective on so much. When we start to realize that what we put into something, it kicks back out at us in terms of the algorithm, what we search, what we see. You know, minute you say something about, oh, I'm hungry, what we eating? You're going to get 5,069 million Chick-fil-A ads. It works the same way in the spiritual faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen way. When you speak positive words, when you seek positive solutions, when you pour positivity into other people, it comes back to you the same way the shit happens in the algorithm. So now computers can teach us just how effective what you put into anything is when it comes to what you get and receive out of it. And I hope to encourage more of our people. I know it's not popular to be talking about getting along and kumbaya and just, honey, just sing, honey, and just get the fashions, honey, and just do the pixie and the lipstick, and we good with that. But it's time for us to go beyond dancing in the videos. And it's interesting. Roland Martin said something about this, and people like, that ain't what Suge Knight meant when he was, it went over them people's head. Because I know what Suge Knight meant and who he was talking to when he said all up in the videos dancing. But it was very symbolic for a lot of reasons. And that is because we have been so consumed with being the performers, right? In every way. We have been so consumed with wanting this, whether it's in the form of hearts and likes and follows and shares, that we have lost the importance of the quality of what we're sharing. And we just want the quantity. We've consumed ourselves with reacting to things as opposed to being proactive. Proactive sometimes requires isolation. Sometimes proactive requires losing friends. Sometimes being proactive requires you going, like T-Pain said something today, or I don't know if he said it today, but I saw it today, where he was like, look, I know y'all probably gonna have an attitude with me because I ain't called y'all, but I ain't calling. And guess what? I need to do this for my mental health. And then guess what? I'm not going on tour. Now I wish I had T-Pain money, because I'll take a break on y'all asses too. I've been contemplating one for a minute, but too many things are happening. The launch of Divine Nine TV is March 23rd. I got to be on these here TikToks and lives building this audience. And I really enjoy venting and releasing and sharing some knowledge with y'all. But the point is just to be in a situation where you're able to say, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to pour into myself. And center yourself. You then realize how that can be contagious and how that can inspire other people to do the same. And the more we do that for one another and leverage our buying power and our attention currency, because attention is a whole economy and a whole currency. Your fan club has completed the first stage of the club quest. Club cheers have unlocked for all your fans to send and celebrate. I don't know what that means, but TikTok done gave me something. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, Insta. But yeah, so I'm not gonna ramble the whole night about the importance of UNITY, but it is so important. And while we can still push the narrative to be better to each other, while we can still say, well, you know what? Yeah, Nicki may have done some things on R&B Divas. Tyra may have done some things on America's Next Top Model. Mona may have done some things on Love and Hip Hop. You know, Kamala Harris back in the beginning of her career may have done some things I didn't agree with. But who's going to look out for the Black community and create more opportunities for us to thrive and grow and work and build than a Black woman? It's a fact. It's the reason why y'all call y'all mama and y'all grandma when y'all sick. It's a reason. Hey, what up, Tone? I see you. It's a reason. We might not always make the best decisions, y'all. We may not always say it the right way. We may not always be on what you on. Yeah, it's times when we talk when we supposed to listen. But at the end of the day, there is no creature on the face of this earth that historically has done more. And we need our men. And of course, listen, like I said earlier, my man gets served his meal every day. Period. I may be, alpha Lena at work, but my husband gets what you want for dinner? You want me to cook? Bring the meal to the man cave, baby. I'm very much involved in making sure that I take care of my family. At the same time that we work to build within our communities and grow and climb in this country. And if you see all the terrible shit that's happening in the United States right now, absolutely I will, Tone. Love to you too, my brother. If you see what's happening out here right now and you see any woman or man of color trying to make a positive difference in our community, even when they slip up, even when they make a mistake here or there along the way, do not throw the baby out with the bath water. Let's learn how to communicate what we talking about so we can become better communicators about what we need to do and grow as a community. We need all kinds of people. We need people who are all about the power of the earth and the power of the sun and the power of the moon. We need people who understand the power of the dollar in corporate America. We need to understand the creatives' need. And if we could come together and all use our gifts and our resources to lift and empower each other, we don't win when we break each other down and destroy each other. And yes, some of us be on that bullshit. And some of us definitely need some check yourself before you wreck yourself, sus. But allow people to be imperfect. What happens with Clarissa Shields is fucking ridiculous. How y'all break that Black woman down so bad. The same way people did it. And y'all, if it ain't you, I ain't talking to you. Us, how we. Let me change my conversation. It's terrible how we do Clarissa. But we did the same shit to Venus and Serena. I was there. We talked about their hair. We talked they look too strong. They talked that we just and then what happens is they go over there and they get appreciated for that blackness and that power and that nappy ass hair and that athletic ability. And they get treated better. And then it switches up. Why she all trying to be with them? Because the neglect from your own people, the abuse from your own people, the disrespect from your own people. Everybody don't just shrug that shit off like I do and be like, no, I know, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Some people be like, y'all, I'm going over here where I'm appreciated. So let's just be conscious of how we treat each other, especially our gifted ones. Creative people ain't always making the right decisions. 9 times out of 10, creative people don't, we're not you know trained in the art of, like, how to be everything. We can't be like world class athletes and making sure the hair is, laid and not the edges out and not look strong. And we like the heavyweight boxer of the world. And to get on, and this is the thing, I know that a lot of what we see comes from our youth and bots and people who have an agenda to break Black women down and make them feel bad about themselves, which is why we have to have the conversations amongst each other so we can share those conversations with our youth, and we can share those conversations with, because if everybody thinks about this one basic principle, if everybody considers this one very basic thing, right? The very basic thing is, if it was your mama, if it was your sister, if it was your grandma, how would you feel if somebody was talking about how ugly and how mean and how would you feel if somebody was disrespecting your people like that? That's somebody's child, that's somebody's family member, that's somebody's loved one. Think about that. It's a very simple concept. You wouldn't want it to happen to people you love, so stop doing it to people in our community that we supposed to be loving on and pushing forward, right? Because it's not easy to become a great boxer like Clarissa. It's not easy, you know, to have been the supermodel that Tyra Banks is, and set up a show like America's Next Top Model. It's not easy to create a show like R&B Divas. It's not easy to do. Is everything okay, babe? I'm wrapping up. It's not easy. So our community should be celebrating it and not being used as a tool of the incompetent to destroy. Thank you for the money gun, Teco Tico. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, these conversations are so therapeutic, and I really am grateful that you guys take the time to come and hang out and to listen and to share your opinions. I didn't get too deep into the comments and stuff, because then I get sidetracked and now my ass be all over the place, because I've been in this business for a long time, so I got a lot of shit to talk about. All I want you guys to do, thank y'all. All I want you guys to do for me, I just want y'all to do one little thing for me. It is not even a really big thing either. It's a simple thing, you guys. Let me turn on some music. I would love for you guys to please go to divine9tv.com. divine9tv.com. To also go to wirftv.com, wirftv.com, which is my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. And just hit subscribe. When you go to divine9tv.com, it's going to ask you for a little bit more information, because we're building something really amazing over there. divine9tv.com. I understand we all have our platforms today. I understand we all have our reach today. I understand we on TikTok making money and on Facebook making money and out here in these streets doing what we got to do. But at some point, when all of this stuff that is happening and all of these things that are coming out start to be revealed, people are going to start limiting our access to come together and connect. And that is the reason why this third space, Divine 9 TV, has been created. Because we want to be able to continue these conversations. We want to be able to continue to grow and to continue to build. Please, I'm not asking y'all for no money. I'm asking you for your attention. I appreciate you guys. Don't be so hard on Tyra. Don't be so hard on no Black woman. Because if anybody loves Black people, Black women do. We don't have no choice. Everybody comes from a Black woman. And a Black man, of course. But the womb that carries people for 9 months, all of us, We came from a black woman. And it didn't say it had to be perfect. It just says that we have to spread love. And that's what we're trying to do over here. I appreciate everybody for chilling and watching Nights with Nicci tonight. I'm so grateful for all the gifts on TikTok. I even had a couple of people come hang out for me for a minute on Instagram. Thank you, Worth TV. Thank you, Facebook. I'm sorry, X, you didn't get in. Thank you, LinkedIn. This is Nights with Nicci. I'll be back tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. And we're going to figure out some other shit to talk about that makes sense. And maybe I'll just do a Q&A. All right, guys. Good night, sexy people. Good night, beautiful people. All right. Hey, buddy. Hi, guy. Hi, guy. Hi, my guy. Hello, Stinky. Say hi. Oh, God. He licked my tongue. He's been eating FUBU. Ew. All right, good night.